Are you short on words?
Pardon?
All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining us. My name is Alyssa Karpenka, and I'm the event coordinator for McNally Robinson Booksellers in Saskatoon. This event is coming to you from Treaty 6 territory, the traditional lands of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dene, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and Métis nations. Just to note that this event is being live streamed, so please be aware of the webcam to your right. I'd also like to take this moment to encourage you to silence your phones for the duration of the event. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Saskatoon launch of My Family, My People, ITEP Creative Writing from 2013 to 2019, edited by William Robertson and Mika Lafond. Thank you to William and Mika for being here tonight and for working with us to create this event. William Robertson is a Saskatoon poet and educator. He taught in the ITEP program for 25 years. He is the author of 5 books of poetry. Mika Lafond is a Saskatoon poet and educator. She has been a classroom teacher as well as an instructor in the ITEP program. She is the author of 3 books of poems and is now pursuing her PhD in educational administration. I'll now turn things over to Bill. Please give him a warm welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me okay? Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. I know that there are all sorts of other things that you could be doing, but you chose the best option. And I'm very pleased to have you here. It's a wonderful event that I think that we can participate in because 104 people have found publication in this book that we put together. Mika and I put together, My Family, My People, ITEP Creative Writing 2013 to 2019. I should tell you that these students did not sign up to the description of the class they signed up for wasn't be in a book. It was English 365 and through the ITEP program. And they took the class, they went through all the assignments, read the books, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I kept copies of their work, little known to them at first, and eventually typed it all up and turned it into a book. This is our 3rd anthology that ITEP has done. The first one, I should just give you a time. Well, I will give you a little history lesson. In 2005, the ITEP Creative Writing program had been going for 2 years. It was a miraculous situation we had back then. Oris Morowski, who's sitting back there, asked me if I'd start a creative writing program. We hadn't had one before. And we had 4 students. Mika was one of them. And at the end of it, I said, well, 4 students. And he said, okay, well, let's go next year. For any of you who don't work at the university, the miracle of this, or possibly in healthcare too, with 4 students, we still went ahead the next year. We weren't about, well, it's not paying, so let's cut the class. So the next year we had 9 people. And the year after that, we had the full complement of 15. So I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Why don't we celebrate by putting together a little book? So I typed up what I consider to be the best work of these students. And we put a little fold over book. Horace found a bit of artwork for the cover and printed off 500 copies. And lo and behold, it was a hit. The only problem was the other students after that started to say, well, are you going to put us in a book then, Bill? So after 8 classes, I put together another book. And that was called Where I'm From. And it had 126 writers in it. And of course, you know what's going to happen next. After we had that one come out, it did very well. Some wonderful people, like my pal back there, Rod McPherson, used it in classes. In college classes and in high school classes, it was used. And as I told the reporter from the Star Phoenix today, she said, well, what do you think the significance of that is? And I said, seeing your life reflected back to you for the first time in your life, to actually see that you exist in print. When I was a young fellow, I believe that the only stories came out of New York and possibly Toronto, LA for sure. And to read Guy Vanderhaeg's first book and see my life reflected back to me was a miracle. And now students in the North, students on First Nations were reading pieces and going, huh, that's my life. That's where I live. And now my family, my people. One thing I have to tell you that's very different about this collection than the last collection, particularly, is that a miracle happened this time. This is one of those things that you hear about in movies. I asked Yvette Arcan, the director of ITEP, if I were to put together a anthology of poetry, could we pay for it? Anybody who's ever published a book knows that these things don't just publish themselves. Somebody's got to pay for them. And she said, well, Bill, it's funny you should ask that. And now I'll read you this little piece that I had sent to me from the communications department, nicely put together by Megan Hinther. Thanks, Megan. And it's about this woman. Avis Luella Lilligren left the majority of her estate to ITEP to establish scholarships, bursaries, and support for cultural learning opportunities, as well as funding the 50th anniversary anthology of writing. That's this one. Born in Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, Avis went on to earn her USask Bachelor of Education degree in 1962. She taught in Rosetown and Bedford Road Collegiate in Saskatoon before moving to Toronto and spending 27 years teaching English at Arundel Secondary School in Mississauga. In addition, she was the first female Ontario Teachers Union president in the Peel District School Board, one of Canada's largest boards of education. ITEP appreciates her thoughtful generosity to the program and the difference she is making in the lives of ITEP students through her gift. Not just this collection, but scholarships, etc., from this woman. I mean, it's a stunner. So yeah, big hand for Yvette that day, and we're in a cafe, and I said, you think we could possibly find the money for this? And she said, yes, Bill, I think we could. And it wasn't about cost recovery, although cost recovery is a beautiful thing, which means please buy a book. Anyway, I think I've said enough for a minute. I'm going to I brought in a co-editor this time. Come on in, please. Find there are chairs back there too, if you want to bring out a chair. And there are seats right up front. Imagine what fun it would be to sit right up here. Think about it. Yeah, come on up, Naomi. There are a few things, while people are getting chairs, I should say thank you to a number of people. One is my co-editor, Mika Lafond, for all the help she's given me. Naomi Baker just walked up. Yay. Naomi Baker just walked up. She's in the front office at ITEP. She's done a lot for this anthology. I see certain people who have worked in the front offices of various places in the College of Education, for instance, and they are the unsung heroes of their departments. Of course, there's Yvette sitting right there, Yvette Arcand, who gave me the go-ahead on this. Oris Morawski back there, give us a wave there, Oris. The man who said go ahead with the previous two anthologies. Cal Whitecap is right there, Jade Ryan, both from, not Whitecap, sorry, Chief Cap. It's the nerves, Cal, it's the nerves. Anyway, Jade Ryan, thanks for being here, folks. And I'll remember to get around to everybody else a little later. So Mika, if you could say a few words about the anthology, and then we'll maybe call up a few people to read for us, because I happen to see a few in the audience. So come on up, Mika.
He left me nothing to say. Just kidding.
Yeah, talking.
Okay, well, just I guess what I wanted to share with you tonight is what it's like to be a part of an anthology, and I was in the first anthology way back in 2005. Yeah, it's a long time. But I come from Muskeg Cree Nation, and it's about an hour north of here. There's about maybe 350 people that live in that community. I started writing poetry when I was 12 years old, but didn't know anything about what to do to get published. And then came to ITEP, and Bill was my first year English instructor. And then the next year he said, we're offering this creative writing if you're interested. And I said, yeah, I'm interested. So what this class looks like, it's not writing that you just share with the instructor. It's a workshop class. And so what happens is you actually write something and you share it with all the rest of the students. The students have time to look at your writing. And then the next class, you sit quietly and listen to your peers critique your writing and talk about, what they understood from your writing. And it's not it's very public, I guess you'd say. It's a really public experience. So what happens in this class is that the first person to go is very brave, because well, I feel like they're very brave, because I never went first. But having everybody read something that you wrote is super personal. And when it gets shared in class, what ends up happening is, especially in ITEP, is that you hear these, or you read these poems and you hear other people's stories and you go, oh, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who's going through this. I'm not the only one who's experienced this. And there's this relationship that's built through the creative writing, and it's super powerful. But also it opened a door for me that I didn't know was there. And having someone like Bill instructing the class, who is an accomplished writer, accomplished author, who says, hey, you should try this, you should submit to this, you should, this is what your next step would be. And I, was emailing back and forth with Bill after finishing ITEP, and hey, Mika, there's an MFA in writing starting at USask, brand new program, you should apply. So I did, finished my master's in creative writing. And hey, Mika, do you want to go meet the people down at Thistledown? We'll take you there and give you a tour. And Thistledown published my master's thesis. And so coming from a very small reserve and coming from a very small community where there's nobody who could have opened those doors for me, and then being in ITEP and having this class and having someone really support you and believe in you, and you can see that it's not just me. There's 104 students that are we believe in them, we support them. And if one of them said, hey, I like this, I like being published, I wanna pursue this, both of us would be able to support them and say, okay, this is the next step if you want to do something with your writing. And I don't think that was really the plan when you started that class. When I was in the first class, and I don't think that was really the plan. It wasn't that big of a plan. And now we're standing here and we have 3 anthologies published of ITEP students who might never have gotten published if they didn't register in the class, and if Bill wasn't the instructor. Really, honestly, that's what it comes down to. Bill's a really special person, especially for a lot of ITEP students. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share with you, just because I have the student perspective. And then when I was asked to be an editor for this one, I was like, yes, I get to read all their secrets. But so I've been working at ITEP since 2015 as I was a mentor instructor and then a sessional instructor the past couple of years. And so I know the students. And I built relationships with them, but being able to read their work was really, it was really eye-opening, I guess, to see what was going on and what they were willing to share in their poetry and in their stories. And it's really powerful. If you read it from cover to cover, you're definitely gonna feel some emotion, like strong emotions. You're gonna have some responses that you're gonna sit back and you're gonna go, oh, why am I feeling like this? But they have come together as a group in a book with a very strong voice for Indigenous people. So, thank you.
Thank you. Well, Mika mentioned those students, so why don't we get one up here right now and have her, Ariel, would you like to step up and read a couple of poems, please? This is Ariel Paul.
Okay.
Go.
Hello, my name is Ariel Paul. I come from One Arrow First Nation. I convocated from the U of S in 2019, and since then I was working at St. Francis as a Cree bilingual teacher. And I'm currently working at St. Mark as a grade 6 teacher. So I've been using my degree for good. Like everybody was saying, this is an intense opportunity. It's crazy looking here and seeing my name in a book and things that I wrote that came from inside of me and sharing it with other people. Like, this is part of it's a bucket list type thing. So yeah, so this is pretty awesome. I'm gonna read 2 of them. The first one is titled Saved. I knock on the door. Mommy looks scared. She whispers for us to hide. Why is Mommy so scared? Loud voices speak. I don't know what they're saying. They speak a funny way. We hide in the closet behind our jackets. The baby is starting to wiggle. We hear yelling. Why is Mommy crying? The door opens. My eyes hurt from the light. Big arms wrap around me. They don't feel right. Mommy is screaming now. Her tears bring tears to my eyes. I can't breathe. The arms carry me outside. Why isn't Mommy coming with me? The arms place me in a car. I'm sitting on a lady's lap. She smells like smoke, not the kind that comes from a fire. She looks at me. Hush, don't worry, you're saved. So that was saved. The next poem is titled Poem Beginning with a Line by Lauren Niedecker. Sorry. What horror is awake at night to your child crying? Mommy, Mommy. A million scenarios run through your head. Is she sick? What's the number for 911? Did someone hurt her? Did she hurt herself? Is that smoke I smell? What's the number for 911? Is there a burglar? Did I lock up the guns? What if they have a gun? Why isn't the dog barking? Did they kill the dog? What's the number for 911? I run into a room as fast as my fatigued body will take me. Mommy, Mommy, what's wrong? I need a glass of water.
What I so love about this class, is how much it taught me and how much it has given me over the years. When Orest said, start a creative writing class, we just agreed that what we wanted was something that Mika talked about, was just a safe space for First Nation students to try out their voices and tell their stories and not be made to feel as if, well, that was weird or less than. And they, as Mika said, you have this intensity of the workshop experience, and that poor first person that has to go and read her or his poem or story. But after a while it gets easier, and the students get to know each other and feel safe with one another. And as Mika said, start to say, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So let's hear from someone else. Jasmine, are you back there? I can't see for these lights. So, any excuse, hey, Jasmine? Okay. Yeah. Never wake a sleeping baby is the law. Look, Marty, are you back there, Marty? Yeah. Do you have a copy of the anthology with you?
I didn't bring my coffee.
Oh, always an excuse. Okay. What year were you in, Marty? Come on up. Oh, man. Yeah. And here it is. I found you. 2014-15. This is Marty Scott. Tell them who you are, Marty.
Hi, I'm Marty Scott. I
There you go.
graduated in 2016. It was my favorite.
Yeah.
It's still my favorite.
Here. Where are you from?
I'm from Kiniston, Soto Nation. I'm a little wee Ojibwe girl in Cree country. So when I took Bill's class, one of the most amazing things for me about that creative writing class was being able to share like a little piece of me. That's how I always felt about my writing. My writing is very personal, and it's not something that I shared with anybody. So it was actually David Pratt that convinced me to join Bill's class. He's like, come on, join the class. And I'm like, no, I don't want to share my writing. I don't want to share a little piece of my heart with anybody. You know, I'm afraid to do that. So Bill's class was really healing. Healing for me. And I remember Carissa Peach was in our class too, and she's so beautiful and loving, and her heart is so kind and pure. She used to call me darkness, and she'd be like, I love your darkness. I know something dark is going to come out of you today, right? And not just that little fear. So I think that's what I really loved about Bill's class. And I remember the first poem I read, I was like, oh my God, do I have to read it? And everybody's going to, you know, make a comment. But after it was done, that was like the first, you know, the weight's lifted and you can breathe. So that's how I felt in Bill's class. I'm going to read one of my poems. I was struggling in university. I was raising my kids. So I used to play the lottery a lot. And I'm like, one day I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it. I know it. Because you struggle when you're a student. So I wrote 649 for Bill's class because I was like, the day I wrote that poem, or the day before I wrote that poem, I had like a baggie full of like nickels and dimes and quarters. And I'm like, I just need to pay my parking. I just need to pay my parking today. So 649, there's a million ways to win. There's a million ways to lose. That's what she's thinking as she collects her paper dreams. A surge of desire gathers in her heart until her skin is like fire. The fee she pays to get her chance is worth this dreaded desire. All the years spent chasing unicorns, the cash that could have been saved, the dashed dreams. If only all the disappointments of the games the thoughts of winning, dreaming of the hit, that lightning bolt of luck, her only motivation. Her addiction is gambling, lottery's her game. Thank you, Bill.
Any other readers out there?
Kayla.
Kayla, all right. Have you got your copy, Kayla? Okay, have you got your complimentary copy yet? Well, don't pass the cash register. I've got one out in the car for you. Okay. Let's see, here we are, 2015, 2016.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Rostowski-Morasti, and I'm one of Bill's former students. Currently, do I say what I mean now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I work as a learning operations consultant at Saskatchewan First Nations Family and Community Institute. More specifically, I work with the On Reserve Income Assistance portfolio and the income assistance administrators from the 74 First Nations communities here in Saskatchewan.
All right. Read.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I don't know which one to.
I'll read two of them anyway.
Okay, so the first one I have here is a found poem, and it's called Isolated Reserve. A reserve cut off from the mainland under boil water advisory for almost 2 decades. Shoal Lake First Nation straddles the Manitoba-Ontario boundary. The reserve has no water, has no all-weather road, and has been without clean water for 17 years. All human rights violations we suffer daily. People from the reserve risk their lives every winter, walking across the ice to get to and from the mainland. Canada is one of the richest countries in the world. This should not be happening. Cool. And this one is called Dog. I ate your leftover steak that was on the counter. I also chewed up your favorite pair of shoes that you left on the floor. Please forgive me for using the cat as a chew toy. I was bored. I barked all night because I was simply singing you a song. I thought it was beautiful. I'm sorry.
I asked some of the prompts for writing were things like, well, what do we write about? Well, that's the perennial question for poets, right? Well, I'd write about something, but I can't think of anything to write about. So you give them something to write about. So you say, write a poem about a number. So Marty goes 649. Or take a first line up from somewhere. So poem beginning with a line by. Or Kayla just riffed on William Carlos Williams. You know, forgive me, I ate the plums that you had in the icebox. Right? Just riff on another thing. Take it from there. Okay, Christy, are you ready? You are in my line of vision, Christy. Christy's going to come up here. You'll read one? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I find it, you just say who you are.
Okay. So I'm Christy Fennerchild. I am with Saskatoon Public School Division. I have 2 different positions. So I'm the Indigenous Student Advocate along with the Wakoto and PD facilitator. So I facilitate the ITEP students who are coming in to do their observations, their placements. Yeah, I convocated from ITEP in 2017 and went home for a couple of years and then came back right at the beginning of COVID. So I've been back in Saskatoon since.
All right.
Okay. As soon as I walked in, I said, I don't want to. Promise. I am your answered prayer, followed by a broken promise. The little girl you left with her mother.
I am your second chance after the addiction, second choice, sorry, after the addiction, when there's no coming back. I am your new prayer to make a better life, your little girl. I'm standing by the window waiting for your call, followed by a broken promise. Ice cream, swimming, a movie. I am the woman you still hurt with your promise. I am still the woman who craves time to be your little girl.
Thank you, Christy. We're gonna take a little break for something a little silly. Since this reader isn't here, I think, Mika, should I read one for somebody? Yes, I think that would be appropriate, Bill. This is Candace Gadwa is a marvelous seamstress. She's often called upon to make dresses and and she actually has one here about making dresses and such. But this is one that I just love. In the prose half of the class, I asked them as a prompt, describe a process. Now, some people took this very seriously. I got a lot about how to make bannock. I know I have a lot of recipes for bannock, and they're all good. But this, some people decided to just play a bit. So here's Candace. Getting on a plane with a moron. Step 1, getting ready. It is the night before our big airplane ride and he is packing. Everything must be folded a certain way, otherwise he can't fit all his clothes in his tiny bag that he insists on using because, apparently, the airlines always lose luggage. Of course, this was written before they started to lose all our luggage. Step 2, morning of. After taking about 3 hours to pack 12 articles of clothing last night, he wakes up 4 hours before our flight to brush his teeth and comb his hair in a way that I have never seen him comb it before. He puts on his clothes that live in the back of the closet and shoes that look good but pinch his toes. The taxi is called way too early, so now we must pay extra time for it to wait for us. Step 3, getting to the airport. He is constantly rushing around even though we are early. We get to the check-in kiosk and he realizes he forgot his passport on the kitchen counter, so he's panicking. He calls everyone on his contact list to ask if anyone will bring his passport to the airport. He will not slow down long enough to let me tell him that I grabbed both his and my passport. I let him panic while I calmly check into our flight. Step 4, going through security. His bag is flagged and looked through because he packed his huge bottles of shampoo and conditioner. He tries to leave his shoes on the conveyor belt on purpose because he can't walk in them anymore. A security guard runs up to give him his shoes and escorts him to a small room to interrogate him on why he didn't take his shoes with him. Step 5, finding our gate. We have less than 5 minutes to find our gate before our flight leaves, and he suddenly needs a coffee so bad that his life depends upon it. I board the plane while he finds a coffee. Another 10 minutes go by. The flight attendant boards the plane with a coffee stain on her blouse. He is the last to board with half spilt coffee. Step 6, relax. He takes his shoes off again and bothers the same flight attendant for a blanket and pillow. I can tell she hates his guts and stares with me with a look I can only translate as pity. We are now 30,000 feet in the air and he's snoring so loudly that I think everyone back home can hear. So thank you, Candace, for how to get on a plane with a moron. I need to say something briefly about the cover of this book, and all what we've got is divided into the years, or the classes, I should say. So there we have these paintings all the way through. These paintings and the cover beadwork are done by Vanessa Hagen. And Vanessa, just to bring everything full circle, was in the first anthology. She was in that very first creative writing class with Mika. Vanessa regrets that she can't be here tonight, but she's stuck at home with the old COVID. So Pretty darn good excuse if you ask me. Now, how's that baby faring back there, Jasmine? Pardon me? She's snoring. Oh, yeah, Jasmine. Yeah, he said he doesn't want to read. I said it into the mic. He's here, but he doesn't want to read. I said. Yeah, give her to me. Here, Jasmine. Tell him who you are and read.
Hello, it's really hot up here. It's not that hot, but it's hot. I'm Jasmine Albert. I live in Saskatoon. I was a teacher with GSCS for a few years. But now I work for a company called Connected North, where we bring education to northern and isolated communities across Canada. So it's a privilege of working from home, so that's pretty nice. I will read a poem called Cooking and Grounds. And I'll probably cry because I'm a crier. So even though it sounds sad, I'll just cry. 9 times out of 10, you're there, 3 rings and I get the voicemail. First person I call when I'm lonely. 7 numbers I can't forget. 6 o'clock news, don't call. Forever the soothing voice of reason. 9 missed calls, you return mine first. Lost poem, always there. I spent so much time trying to find you, the person you were supposed to be, the person who was supposed to teach me to drive. The person who was supposed to teach me to fish. I spent so much time, my eyes are blurry, hoping you would come to every concert, every party. I wondered where you were. I spent so much time thinking it had to be you. Not until you left did I find you. You were always there. I looked 13 years for my dad. You were always there, but I called you Gramps. I wrote 2 sad poems. Like, why you have to put two sad? I had no option. I'm not a poem about a dog.
She wrote only sad poems, folks.
She's just sad, okay?
Are there any other students out there who I've missed who would like to come up and read? Anybody, Jordan? Now come on up, Jordan.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. Yeah, come on up here. 107. Here. What's this? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I got that.
My name's Jordan Thunderchild. I work at Tommy Douglas right now as the Indigenous student advocate and teacher. And since ITEP, I've been in a lot of guidance positions and helping out students. And I've actually used some of my own poems when I had to teach English. So this has helped out a lot. And I love creative writing, but I teach all day. So I'll read a couple of them here. Yeah. So with a lot of my writing, what I've always explained to my students is I love looking back at it because it shows where I was at in education in university compared to where I am at now. So the first one is called The Best Job in the World. The bills are paid, fridge is full, but that's only part of my job. Working at a heritage park, giving tours and teaching history to anyone who will listen. That's also only part of my job. The other half is when I get home. Father, husband, friend, jungle gym. These are some of my labels that I carry when I get home. If they would pay the bills, I would do them forever, but unfortunately they do not. If I had a schedule for my daily tasks, it would be work, drive home, play, and love. Can't forget the last two. Family is what matters. Even on the darkest day, a smile to say that you are doing a good job can make any day feel the brightest. I wouldn't classify both work and home life as separate tasks because they are what is necessary. My job is being a good husband and father. It's the best job in the world, but it can also be the hardest. It's a job that requires all of your energy. You don't get paid or get vacation. The reward is a lifetime of memories, and not all of them are the best. This job is a lifetime of teaching and caring for someone else. It never stops. It all pays off when you watch someone you have been teaching grow up and do things that make you proud. It pays off when you are held and told that you are appreciated for all the hard work you are putting in. The only rest I may ever get is when I die, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It can be the best, it can be the worst job, but it's worth it. Husband, father, provider, protector, sometimes even a pretend horse or monster. Next one was, you can kind of see where I was at in university through this one. It's a short poem I wrote for Bill's class. It's really shows, I think, where a lot of us were in university. It's called Worth It. Sore muscles, tired eyes, too much coffee, not enough sleep. Sleepless nights, stressful days, too much coffee, not enough sleep. No life, no love, too much coffee, not enough sleep. Proud family, higher self-esteem, thanks to too much coffee and not enough sleep. I think I need coffee right there.
Or a poem you'd like to read of any? When you can think of?
There's one, yeah, but it's not home.
Oh, it's okay. We got it ready?
Yeah.
Okay. She tabbed it. Mika's gonna read one here.
Tabbed it.
She tabbed it.
All right, this is a piece that was written by Logan Sanderson. She was the 2019 class. Can't remember when she completed. 2021? 2020 or 2021. She was one of our COVID ITEPers. Okay, so this is called The Distance Between French and Cree. For as long as I can remember, people would ask me, "What are you?" I would say, "I'm Cree," but it felt like a lie. My mom says we're French, yet I can't help but notice I look so out of place in family photos. Are you adopted? No. It's just that half of me is here with my blonde-haired mom, and the other half of me is somewhere else, with people I don't know in a place I don't belong. The distance between Saskatoon and L'Orange is 380 kilometers. The distance between French and Cree is bigger than that. It's not measured in drive times, inches, or miles. It's all custody battles, scattered visits, and smiles that don't quite reach the eyes. Who's that, Mom? That's your brother. Don't you remember him? I look in the mirror. I see skin that's not quite white, not quite brown. I see the face of a mother who tries and the eyes of a father who wasn't around. I am made up of pieces from two different puzzles that are all mismatched, wedged into one another, crooked and forced to fit. I am missing parts. I lie at night, try to sleep, push out the voice in my head that won't quit telling me, "Pick up the phone, Logan, call your sister." But even if I did, what do you say to a stranger? I wonder what she feels when she looks at me. When we're together, I'm searching my brain for something we have in common. It is a dull pain, forgotten until I'm around again, acting up arthritis on a rainy day. Is it resentment at me for never calling, instead storing that part of my life away in the corners of my mind and only ever dusting it off once a year when I come to visit? Is it nothing? The distance between French and Cree is so far. It's not reachable by boat, plane, or car. The road deteriorates with age. You can read the signs as you approach. The rage of a man in a world that keeps taking and taking and taking, and his daughter, who is afraid to go to a powwow because she's worried she's somehow faking her own culture. She's one of three, each raised by a different mother, in separate places, one never truly knowing the other. She's French, or she's Cree. She doesn't know what she is. I wish I was brave. I wish I could send that email or make that call, but I'm so afraid of falling down, down, down into the unknown where you're surrounded by people and you're completely alone. Into the space between my family and me where silence lingers. The ghost of conversations we never had in a language I've not spoken. But if I were to pry that beer bottle from your fingers, take the glass that is broken and use it to cut away my skin that's not quite white and not quite brown, would you stay to see what I have found? If I stood before you as a puzzle made of red blood and white bones, could I form a map that leads me home? Would you follow the drumbeat of my heart and close the gap that keeps us apart? I want to belong. I want to take these mismatched pieces from a divided spirit and rearrange them so that one day I can look in the mirror and see the girl who bridged the distance between French and Cree.
Thank you, Mika. Logan's poem is the last, or her set of work is the last in the book, and she's got one about her cousin's wedding that is hilarious. If you can believe it, it's a phone. We didn't even know we were a phone-in show as it has on The Simpsons. If you're able, someone has requested that you read a poem from Stella Wilm, who, when we taught her, was Stella Ketchamonia Obey. And this is called The Race for Stella. That's great. Well, that's good. We should love them. Yeah, that's a.
Because I was probably the instructor she's talking about.
Going on too long. Yeah, Stella lost her sight. And she had to learn to deal with a whole new way of doing things. And some of that time that she was learning was at ITEP. So she had a lot more to learn than most of our students. The race. I am going to be late. I need to get to my pickup at 11:30 on the dot or they will leave me. The professor has 10 minutes of class left and now she is chit-chatting. I am going to be late. I have 10 minutes to get down the stairs and get across the building to my pickup, or else they will leave me. I am going to be late. I must leave now, so I get up and sprint out of class. I hear someone say, "See you next week." I hope the professor understands why I rushed out of class, but I do not have $20 for a cab ride home today. I am practically running, trying my best not to smash into bodies in the middle of the hallway. I wish they would move, but they stand there like cattle. I am going to be late. My stick catches the wall and I quickly adjust myself. I am now racing, but something is off. Something does not feel right. I cannot be late. It is quiet again. Far too quiet. Darn it. I know exactly where I am. I overcorrected myself when I hit the wall and did a 360. I was going so fast that it turned me back down the hallway I just came from. I am definitely going to be late. So that's from Stella. I think it's question period, Mika. So why don't we get up here, and well, I'm already up here and you're right over there. So does anyone have any questions? We promised the management that we'd leave a few minutes for questions if you have.
I don't have one.
We didn't hear the question, I'm sorry.
I just asked Mika if she was going to read a poem of hers.
Oh, would Mika read a poem of hers? Mika has one at the back of the book. Would you read that poem?
Start reading your own stuff.
Here. Right, see, I just happen to have it right here.
So we're at the first anthology.
Yeah, you could have read all.
Box 82.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. This one's called Unapologetic. I am first generation, unresidential schooled, identity burglarized. I am first generation recovering near erasure, revitalize, rejuvenate, renew. Blood memory triggers Nehiawiwin, braided by storytellers and words. A puzzle of Atamona, I sit embracing this land's language, pocketing my identity one word at a time. A foreign language familiar to my blood, familiar to this land. With each word I speak, I take it back. Land knowledge is spiritual. Wake up, unapologetically Nehio.
All right. Any questions?
You can ask the students that are here too.
Pardon me?
Are those other two books both available?
I don't know. Do you have any? No, but we, the one, where I'm from, we just happen to have a few lying around ITEP. And, they're going at a reduced price. So, you ever get near the university?
Yeah.
Well, just pop into ITEP and we'll see that you get some. All right? Yeah, no problem there. Yeah, we've got a real fire sale going on them now. It's not because they were in a fire either. Any other questions? The first one, they're kind of rare now, aren't they?
I have 5.
Oh, order. Yeah.
I took all the ones that were left.
She took all the ones that were left. Okay. Yeah, we can maybe find you one somewhere. But anyway, any other questions? Thank you. Marketing question is always good. Sorry, I can't see a thing. So, any other questions? Yes.
Are all of the students from Saskatchewan in the program?
No. This one more so, the where I'm from, we honestly had students from the American border and somewhere back living in the United States and up into islands in the Arctic Sea or in the Arctic Ocean. Getting a hold of her was interesting. Yeah. But this one,
We only have Dwayne. And
oh yeah, Dwayne's in, oh, is he? Yeah.
But he's from
And from Inuvik, yeah.
He moved back to take his master's this year.
That's right, Dwayne, yeah. Any other questions? You don't have to ask them, just in case you have any.
Are you planning to continue the creative writing class,
Well, I'm not. I retired. I retired in 2019.
what does that mean?
Means it gave me lots of time to type this thing up. You haven't retired, Mr. Lafond. Regarding the creative writing class, Mika has taught a couple of creative writing classes. 3 times, yeah. But Yvette, is there a regular creative writing class going on right now? Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna continue.
We just have to find the money.
They just apparently have to find the money. Okay, yeah. Yeah, those days of putting it on because it's for the good of the students. Anyway, What a concept. Any other questions? Is there a question back there? No? Well, we could always stop. Yeah. We encourage you to pick up a copy of the anthology, pay for it, of course. And for those students who are in the anthology but haven't received their free copy yet, they get a complimentary copy. Please don't take one of these. These are for sale. I have some for you in my car. Okay, so for those who haven't got their complimentary copy, please. Yeah, they're in the trunk. All right. Anything you want to add?
If the students could stick around though, to sign some copies, that would be great.
Oh, yes, signing. Yes, Harry.
Yeah, we'll take a group picture.
Yeah, all the students.
All the students, come on up. Yeah. You get a picture.
We'll do it now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you so much. Very gratifying. Very gratifying, particularly for our readers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.